जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीरा वनचारि यमुना तीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीरा वनचारि यमुना तीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Maharaj ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I got given 3 topics to speak from. What were they again?
One was Bhagavatam was
Related to Yashoda Damodar.
it was related to Govardhan Hill, Radharani. Because it was, you came from Govardhan and you wanted again.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Could we just get windows open if that's okay? Let's just get them. Could we get the windows open? Okay. Thank you. So I picked, drum roll, I picked Govardhan Lila. Govardhan Lila. Do people know the pastime of Govardhan? Picking Govardhan. Lifting Govardhan. I know you. Pastime of lifting Govardhan? Right. Yes. Do people know how it starts? Do we know how the pastime starts? Indra's ahankar. And why was Indra having ahankar? Why was he having pride and ego?
He was the controller of rain and when everyone prayed to him,
No. He's the controller of rain and
everyone prayed to him, then he would oblige. Very powerful.
contradiction.
Everybody was praying to Indra in the very beginning, and they were giving him presents and food and things. So Krishna said, "You do not pray to Indra anymore, but pray to Govardhan." So that's why he got upset. Why you not done that right? A little bit.
So it all starts with Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd boy or the cowherd men preparing an elaborate worship of Indra. Indra, who was rightly called out as being the king of heaven, the king of the rains, the king of the thunders. He basically ruled heaven, right? The heavenly planet system, he ruled it. Ananda Maharaj and all the cowherd men of Vrindavan are setting up. They're getting lots of different milk items, different food items in preparation to worship Indra. And here comes 7-year-old Krishna. Is anybody here 7 years old? Any of the kids? All the 7-year-olds are inside playing. This 7-year-old Krishna came to Nanda Maharaj whilst he was preparing the carts and asking, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Kids nowadays don't ask questions, right? No? They don't ask questions, right? Oh, they ask lots of questions. You can blame Krishna for that, because Krishna asks lots of questions too. He asked Nanda Maharaj, "What are you guys doing? What's going on?" And he didn't just say, "Oh, what are you doing?" He said that you should tell me. Why? Because a saintly person doesn't consider a difference between enemy, friend, or neutrality. If an enemy comes to your door and asks you for your secrets, you're not going to say it, right? But if a friend asks, you'd say it. You'd be like, okay, you might be open to say it. You won't necessarily say it, you'll be open to saying it. But Krishna is saying that saintly people don't make a difference. They'll tell whatever's in their heart, they'll just say it. But then he says, just in case you're questioning, okay, I'll say to anyone and everyone, but Krishna, you're a small boy. Why should I tell you? So then Krishna explains that actually, I'm your relative, I'm close to you. All the more reason to tell me all your intimate secrets. Because what stays in the house, what's said in the house stays in the house, right? If I had a complaint against Jasu, I won't say it in front of a whole public assembly. I'll say it in my home. Why? And so that's what Krishna said. Krishna said, tell me what you're doing, tell me why you're doing. And then he specifically says that any activity that somebody does, success only comes when they understand why they're doing the activity. If we don't understand why we're doing it, there is no success. Now, everybody here is Indian. We are all used to practicing doing puja in the morning or doing different ritualistic activities. And then when our kids ask, why are we doing it? What's our standard reply? Our parents did it, that's why we do it. Their parents did it, that's why we do it. But where's the explanation of why we're doing what we do? So Krishna is saying that actually success only comes when we understand what we're doing. You can teach your kids, this is how you do arti, this is how you worship, this is how you offer food. But if we don't explain why we do it that way, what we're doing and why we're doing it, then when they grow up and start doing it, they won't see any success. And then the other thing Krishna says to Nanda Maharaj is Tatra tavat kriya yogo bhavatam kim vachirita athava lokikastanme prichatha sadhubhanyatam. He says, such being the case, the ritualistic endeavor of yours should be clearly explained to me. Is it a ceremony based on scriptural injunction or simply a custom of ordinary society? He's asking, is what you're doing scripturally present, or is it just a custom? Or is it just, traditionally we've been doing it for generations, so we're doing it? Or is it actually mentioned in the scriptures? Interesting. We are very used to just telling our kids, do this, do this, do this, because our generations, my parents told me to do it, so I do it, you do it now because I'm your parent, so you should listen. But Krishna is clearly making a distinction. Tell me, is this scriptural or is it just a custom? Whatever we do, whatever teachings we give to our children, I don't have children, but whatever you teach your children or grandchildren, do you give the understanding of what they're doing is, or what you're doing is a scriptural based thing or a customary thing? Do we have the right understanding of which is which? In the scripture, there's different levels of activity. The very basic level that is scripturally authentic is called karma kanda. Karma kanda is doing ritualistic activities for our gain, for some material benefit. Like Diwali time, I don't remember when it is, there's this whole Lakshmi Puja aspect. A lot of people do Lakshmi Puja with Dhanteras, right? They worship Lakshmi so that Dhan comes home, so that Lakshmi comes home. But when you look at Lakshmi, when you understand who Lakshmi is and what Lakshmi is, one thing you 100% understand. Lakshmi doesn't come without Narayan. So we leave aside Narayan and worship Lakshmi, so Lakshmi comes home. But that's not scriptural. Scriptural is worshipping Narayan and Lakshmi together. And how do you do that? You worship Narayan through the practices, the processes. Everybody here has probably been part of the Sangha for a while. So the chanting, the studying, the connecting with Krishna. And you worship Lakshmi in relation to Krishna. Because where is Lakshmi found? Always serving the lotus feet of Krishna or Narayan. So how can you separate Lakshmi just to get the Dhan? Because that Dhan will go away anyway. But if you want the real Lakshmi in the heart, then you worship Lakshmi with Narayan. We worship Radharani with Krishna. We worship Sita with Ram. So Karmakanda, so Karmakanda is worshipping for the sake of personally motivated benefits. We want peace, we want happiness, we want, as I will often do, and Romney will be very attuned to this now because I've done this a few times in Bhagavata life. We go to Krishna and pray, please Krishna, give me a 4-inch TV, a Mercedes-Benz, a 3-bed apartment, kids that will listen to me and sit quietly like this one here, kids that will pass exams on the first try, top grade in the class. We pray for all these things. Karmakanda. Then higher than Karmakanda are different aspects, and I'll generalize them for the sake of moving on, is this idea of Sakam or Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yoga comes into the picture now. Yoga literally means to connect. So on the very basic level, you've got Karmakanda, which is, Karma means activity, and Kanda means, what does Kanda mean in Hindi? Kand. Kand. If I say Kand, something wrong. Doing some wrong activity because, even though it's in the scriptures, it's for material benefit. Karmakand is doing activities which are not spiritually conducive. That's why they're called Karmakand. But Karma Yoga brings in this idea of Yuj, which is yoga, which is connecting with Krishna. And so those activities give a spiritual benefit. And there's different levels inside that as well, but this idea of whatever we're doing is connected to Krishna. And that is spiritual activity that helps elevate our consciousness, that helps us come closer to Krishna, to this idea of pure love. And so Karmakand is authorized in scriptures. Doing things religiously for the sake of personal benefit, but it's also looked down upon because it's not giving us eternal benefit. And that's why yoga, Karma Yoga, is called out. And then from that you have Gyan Yoga, and Prema Yoga and things like that. But so Krishna is making this distinction. Is it cultural or is it scriptural? Tell me what it is. And so then Nanda Maharaj starts giving an explanation that, we've been performing all this yagnas, all these sacrifices, we've been amassing all this food and milk items to worship who? Indra. And why? Why are we doing that? Because Indra enables one in dharma, artha and kama. People will know dharma, artha, kama, moksha. I don't remember what serial it was. Years ago when I used to watch TV and Indian soaps, there used to be this serial and this Indian bad guy in the serial. Whenever he'd come, there'll be a music playing, like the character's music. Dharma, artha, kama, something like that. Anyway, moksha. No, moksha wasn't there. No, Sam, Dam, Dandapit, or whatever it's called. That would come up. Not Dharma, Kam. But Dharma, Kam is 3 of the 4 goals of human life. Dharma means religiosity. Artha means money or wealth. And Kama means enjoyment, enjoying desires. And then the 4th one is moksha, which is liberation. So Nand Maharaj is saying that because of Indra, we can get dharma, artha and kama. Because what does Indra do? Indra do? He showers rains. The rains then allow the crops to nourish. The crops we can then use to eat. And if we're nourished, if our body is nourished, then we can do religious activities. Then we can acquire economic development and wealth. Then we can enjoy ourselves. So Nanda Maharaj is saying that actually because of Indra we get all these things, which is why it's our duty to go and serve him. But then Krishna, he has all of this and he's thinking, why? And one of the acharyas, Sridhar Maharaj, or Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he explains that Krishna argues 6 points back to Nanda Maharaj. The first thing he says is that karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny. Karma alone is sufficient to determine one's own destiny. Because whatever we do, we say, right? If something goes wrong in our life, or our friend's life, what do we say? Oh, that was maybe just your karma, your destiny. Because karma is such that whatever we do, whatever actions we do in the world, the reactions will come to us. Actually, that's what's ruling our prosperity. If we're getting food, if we're getting good food, it's because of our karma, because previously we have done some activities where we can get food now. The second thing Sridhar Maharaj says that Krishna argues is that one's conditioned nature is a supreme controller. One's conditioned nature is the supreme controller. He explains that actually whatever we're doing is going to lead to another reaction in the future. And that's why we get benefits, we get happiness or distress, we get anxieties or freedom from anxiety, you know, all these things. Why do we go to work? Because we think, okay, at the end of the month, I'll get a paycheck because I'm working. And if you don't work, if you just laze around at work, chances are you're setting up yourself for a P60, you know, being kicked out. So actually, the work we do is a supreme controller, because if we put the effort in, then that will give us the results. That's the second thing he argues. Then the third thing is that the modes of nature are the supreme controller. The modes of nature are the supreme controller. We all know the three modes, right? Ignorance, passion, and goodness. Everything around us, including us, we're all influenced by the three modes. So if I say that I'm going to do an activity and that's the supreme controller, right? But the reality is we're only doing activities under the influence of the modes. We're all sitting here in a sangha because under the three modes we're influenced that, okay, I want to benefit myself in the mode of goodness and transcendental, because we're discussing transcendental topics. So we come together to discuss Krishna Katha. So that's pure goodness. But this idea of coming together, having pleasant exchanges is goodness. But equally, I could come here and start breaking everything. Start breaking this table, or the statues, or the paraphernalia. I could start ripping out the sofas. I came here to have sangha, but under the influence of ignorance and passion, I start breaking everything. So that's why the modes are supreme, because the modes can influence me and my activities. So Krishna argues that. Pretty compelling, right? The fourth thing he says is that the Supreme Lord is simply a dependent aspect of karma. Why do we worship, traditionally or culturally, why do we worship like Lakshmi? Why do we worship Bhavani? Why do we worship all these devatas? Why is Nanda Maharaj worshipping Indra? Because through that worship, the expectation is that they will give something in return. Right? Because we have done something, the higher personalities, Indra, etc., they are compelled to give us something in return. So doesn't that make them influenced by karma? Because we have done something for them, they have received a benefit from us, therefore they must give back to us. Action and reaction. Pretty compelling. So that was Krishna's, which argument? Fourth argument. So the first argument was, karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny. Second, that one's conditioned nature is the supreme controller. Three modes of nature are the supreme controller. The fourth is, the Supreme Lord is simply a dependent aspect of karma. The fifth one, he, meaning the Supreme Lord, is under the control of karma, which is very similar. This idea that actually the Supreme Lord also, because of the fact that they have to give back, that makes them under control of karma as well. And then the sixth one, that one's occupation is the actual worshipable deity. From all these arguments where we do work and we get reactions from that work, even the Supreme Indra has to give us the reactions to our activities. And he himself is influenced by the activities that we do and they do. Then why have the middleman of Indra in the first place? Why not just worship the work in the first place? Indra only gives us based on what we do. So why not just focus on what we're doing? Because Indra has to give it anyway. Have you ever seen the mountains or the rivers or the ocean perform a puja for Indra and Indra is still showering rain? I haven't seen that. I don't know if anybody has. Have we ever seen the deserts worship Indra? And yet, rain showers in the deserts or in the rainforests. Cut out the middleman. Stop worshipping and just worship work. Here we all are with Radha Gokulananda, Yashoda Damodar behind me. And I'm meant to be encouraging Krishna Bhakti. But here Krishna is, forget worship. Just focus on your duty. Just focus on worshipping your work. Why? Why would Krishna confuse Nanda Maharaj? And what does Nanda Maharaj do after this? He goes, yes, Krishna, what you're saying is perfectly right. We will start worshipping. Oh, sorry, there's one thing I missed. As Ramji had mentioned, I think. Krishna says that, okay, stop worshipping your work, stop worshipping Indra, worship your work. And what is our work? Well, we are Vaishyas, we are farmers, cowherd men. Our work is tending to the cows, is tending to the brahmanas, because we recite Vedic mantras whenever we're doing auspicious activities. And Govardhan Hill, who provides the grass, the caves, and the waters and everything for the cows and our residents. So stop worshipping Indra and just worship Govardhan Hill, the cows, and the brahmanas. Nanda Maharaj says, yes, yes, absolutely, we will follow that because you desire it, Krishna. But he says, let us worship Indra because we've prepared everything for Indra. And then after that, we will prepare worshipping Govardhan Hill. But Krishna says, no, 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 no. Start now. What if Govardhan decides that he's not going to produce any more grass for us because you delayed your worship of Govardhan? What if the cows stop producing milk because you delayed worshipping the cows? What if the brahmanas get angry and annoyed and instead of chanting mantras for our benefit, they start chanting mantras to curse us because we delayed their worship? Let us use what we have assembled for Indra's worship and use it in the worship of the cows, Govardhan, and the brahmanas. Ananda Maharaj and the Brajvasis love Krishna so much. Remember, he's 7 years old. That instead of going, no, no, I've seen more Diwalis than you. We are going to do my way. They said, yes, yes, I will do whatever you want. Because that's a symptom of love, right? I mean, husband, wives, maybe aside. But parent, children especially, we see that, okay, if the child really wants something, out of love, you just start doing it. Okay, sometimes you chastise them also. But you just go, you just give your heart out to them. Whatever they desire, even if it's uncomfortable for you, you start doing it. Why do you change your kids' nappies? Why don't you tell them, go change your own nappy? Okay, partially because they don't understand. But also, you have no qualms doing it because it's out of love. In the same way, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men had no qualms of listening to Krishna because for them it was, Krishna wants this. Let's just give it. Let's just do it for Krishna. And so we see that a whole puja, all the milk items, all the crops and everything that were meant for Indra were now converted into different food items. Sandesh, barfis, rasgulla. Huh? Oh, stop. In the Bhagavatam, it talks about all these sweet, sweet items from milk. In other places, it also talks about pakoras, bhajias, all these things. And they get offered to Govardhan. And what's really nice and special is that just to enhance the mellows of the Brajvasis, you've got Krishna who's helping everybody. Yes, yes, let us offer everything to Govardhan. Mountains of food, right? On Anukut festival, which Gujarati celebrate as New Year, but is really just for Govardhan Puja. We see that mountains of food are piled up, right? They actually look like mountains. It's not just, put everything on a plate and different plates. You actually create mountains because that's how it was offered to Govardhan Hill. And then we see Krishna, just to enhance the feeling and the mood of the Brajvasis, he expands himself as a big Govardhan, like not the mountain Govardhan, but as a personality, Giriraj, and starts eating all the food, just to enhance the love of the Brajvasis. Because in their mind, they might be thinking, oh, we're taking all this food for Govardhan when it was meant for Indra. But just to show that actually, Govardhan has accepted your offering. Just to convince them that it doesn't matter that you haven't worshipped Indra. The point is that you're worshipping Govardhan, your work. So Govardhan's eating everything. Now it's interesting. Why does Krishna stop the worship of Indra? Two reasons are there. The first reason is to show us that actually worshipping the demigods when Krishna is personally present isn't necessary. Krishna is very, very greedy. He wants exclusive worship. Your children, like your youngest child or youngest grandchild, imagine you start giving attention to the elders, to everybody else, and not the youngest child. What's the youngest child going to do? Papa, Papa, and starts crying, because they want attention. That's Krishna. Krishna's like, yes, you've got Indra, you've got Brahma, you've got all these other personalities, but what's the need of them? I'm right here. Worship me. Give me your love. Give me your attention. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yepyanta devata bhakta yajante shuddhayanvito tepimam eva konteya yajanti avidipurvakam. He says that those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 23, that you can worship all these devas and devtas, but actually, the best form of worship is to worship me directly and focus on only worshipping me. In modern day, we have this tendency to, split our investments. What if one investment doesn't work? What if that goes sour? What if that goes downhill? Let us invest in 10, 20 different stocks, 20 different things, and maybe one of them will, give us the benefits we're after. Even at work, we do that, right? Many of us, or at least my generation, will go to work. You look at LinkedIn, 2-year switch, 2-year switch, 1-year switch, 1-year switch. But what are the old generations? 20, 40 years, loyalty to one company. Because nowadays it's about, okay, this company doesn't seem to be benefiting me anymore. Let me go to this other company. Let me keep switching. Let me make sure I don't have all my eggs in one basket. But actually, spirituality is such that the more you split your focus, the less deep you can go in whatever you're focusing on. Today I worship Hanuman, tomorrow I worship Krishna, third day I worship Shiva, fourth day I take a break, let me worship my pet. Then what's going to happen is that we're not going to go deep in anything. And so when we come to a spiritual practice which is bona fide, authentic, and actually gives us depth of understanding, what we see is that they will all tend towards Vaishnavism, this idea of worshipping exclusively Krishna or Vishnu. And the Bhagavad Gita is saying exactly that. This verse, those who are devotees of other gods who worship them with faith actually worship only me. This is Krishna speaking, but do so in the wrong way. If you have a plant, and if you wanted to nourish the plant, where would you water? Would you water the flower? Would you water the leaves? Would you water the branch? Would you water the stem or the trunk? Would you water the roots? Where would you water? The roots. So you wouldn't water the leaves, but how do the leaves grow big then? You go through the root absorbs all the water, then nourishes the whole plant, so the whole plant can grow nicely. And that's what worshipping Krishna does. The demigods like Indra, etc., are like different parts of the plant. The family is a different part of the plant. But when we focus on nourishing the root, which is Krishna, what happens is that as we serve Krishna, as we worship Krishna, as we offer to Krishna, Krishna will then nourish all of our other relationships. Indra gives us the rain only because Krishna has told Indra, this is your duty. You must give rain. We have a direct line to the Prime Minister. Why do we need to go through the local council to get anything done? We don't. If we're in contact with the Prime Minister, if Nikhil Prabhu is very connected. So if Nikhil Prabhu on his phone has the Prime Minister's number, why would we go to anyone else but the Prime Minister? Well, why would Nikhil Prabhu go to anyone else but the Prime Minister? Maybe you can give me his number too. Sometimes the council, but Nikhil Prabhu is best friends with the Prime Minister. Who's going to be quicker, the authority or your best friend? Okay, let's not answer that question in this day and age. So the idea is if you've got a direct line to the one who's giving everything, why go through the medium? So Krishna is saying, exclusive worship of me, primarily out of love, but also because I am the one that is the source of everything. I'm the one that gives Indra the power to even give rain. I mean, he doesn't tell that to the Vrajvasis, but for our understanding, we can understand that. Krishna is very greedy. He just wants us to worship him and nobody else. But the second reason comes in the second half of Govardhan Lila, which was mentioned before. Indra's anger. Indra, king of heaven, became so puffed up and full of so much pride that he started thinking that he ruled everything. Imagine you ruled a whole country. You are the Prime Minister now. One house, in one village, in one state, or, shire, bad things to say about you. How much pride would you need to have to go directly to Smithal Mataji's house because she has said bad things about me, instead of saying that I'm the Prime Minister? She's saying, no need to think about the Prime Minister. Let us just think about our work. How dare she? Think of the pride that's required to do that. Indra is ruling over the whole kingdom of heaven, which governs the rules of the weather system and everything else for the entire universe. And yet he's focused on one bhumi. Within that one bhumi, there's Bharatvarsh. Within that one Bharatvarsh, there's a village, not even a city, a village of Nandagram, or Vrindavan. And within that, there is one house where Nanda Maharaj and Krishna are residing. And he's focused. He's like tuned in. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vivasayatmika buddhir, one-pointed attention. He's saying it to have one-pointed attention for Krishna, but Indra had one-pointed attention for somebody who said something bad about him. And so he tells the Samvataka clouds, which are the clouds that rain on universal destruction. So the destruction that happens at the end of Brahma's day or Brahma's life, it floods the entire universe. So Indra instructed those clouds to go to Vrindavan and kill all the Vrajvasis. Imagine the pride he had of his position. And so all of us probably know the pastime where Indra sent the clouds. It's raining, it's thundering, it's windy, because Indra himself comes and Vayudev comes on Indra's order. And all the Vrajvasis, if you've seen the serial, they start flying here, there, everywhere. They're like struggling to move. But then what do they say? Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga. They call out to Krishna. Don't go, Krishna, you fool, you told us to worship Govardhan instead of Indra. Look what's happening. They go, Krishna, Krishna, come save us. We need your help. You are our only shelter. So Krishna comes, and what does he do? It's the whole Govardhan hill. Not with the right hand, with the left hand. Not with the whole hand, with one pinky. And he lifts it for 7 days and 7 nights. And he invites all of the Vrajvasis to come take shelter of this umbrella that he's lifted up. Who comes? The Gopas come, the Gopis come, the motherly Gopas, Gopis, the friendly Gopas, the conjugal Gopis come, the cows come, the calves come, all the residents of Vrindavan come. And I'm conscious of time, but it can go in so many different ways because there's so many descriptions of what happens when Krishna is under the Govardhan hill. It's described that when the gopis started to come, and specifically Radharani started to come under the shelter of Govardhan, as soon as Krishna saw Radharani, he started having sattvika bhav, this ecstatic emotions, and so it's described that Govardhan hill started to shake a little. And then Balram had to go, no. This isn't time for your Ras Lila, it's time for Raksha Lila, protect everyone. Ras Lila is later. It happened before, it happened later. But right now it's time for Raksha Lila, protect everyone. It's described in some places when the 7 days, 7 nights are over and Indra realizes his mistake. When Krishna is ready to leave and now all the Vrajvasis are like, okay, he's telling all the Vrajvasis, you leave. Once you come out of the shelter, I will put Govardhan hill down. Then at that point, the Vrajvasis are like, no. If we leave, we're holding Govardhan hill with our sticks. If we leave, then you'll get crushed. So no, you leave first. We'll hold with the sticks and then we'll come out. And so Krishna's like, okay. And he starts reducing his finger and all the sticks are apparently holding Govardhan hill. They start shaking and cracking and then Vrajvasi is like, no, Krishna. Your idea is best. You stay, we'll come out and then you can come out. So it's also described on maybe, I don't know which day, but one of the earlier days, as a mother, your child is holding such a heavy thing in their hand. By the way, in the Bhagavatam, it's described that he held it just like a boy holds a mushroom. The ease with which a child picks a mushroom is the ease by which Krishna held Govardhan hill. But it's described that Yashoda was so concerned about Krishna because he hasn't eaten for so many days. And in the temple, we see he gets food 8 times a day. And so Yashoda's thinking, oh my Krishna, he's gone so thin and pale and weak. But Madhu Mangal, the Brahmana, pot-bellied Brahmana friend of Krishna is saying, no, Yashoda, ma. Krishna is okay. He's not holding Govardhan hill. Actually, Govardhan hill is being held up because of my power, my potency as a Brahmana. Look, he's not holding Govardhan hill. Look, there's a gap above his finger. There's a gap. Actually, it's my mantric power that is holding Govardhan hill up. Your Krishna is good for nothing. I'm the real one. So when you want to feed me. It's my stamina that's gone down. Like there's so many different stories that I described of Govardhan hill in that specific pastime. But lo and behold, when we come out of the pastime and Indra realizes his mistake. What happens? He goes to Krishna, but he doesn't go alone. When you've done something wrong, okay, kids are the best at this. When they've done something wrong, what do they usually do? They hide behind somebody, right? Who's the one that of course none of us had this, but who's the one that shouts to the kids? You're Mataji. Who tells them off? Oh, Mataji. So what happens to the kids when they've done something wrong? They come behind you and they're like, Papa, you protect me from Ma. Probably, I don't know. Generally kids do that, right? They hide behind somebody they feel safe. This person is strong enough to protect me from whoever's going to be shouting at me. So Indra did just that. He went to Brahma, and Brahma said, you're donezoed. You tried to kill Krishna's own relatives and family, you're donezoed. Your only way of getting protection is by take somebody who is a family member of Krishna. Take a Surabhi cow. So Indra goes to, I forgot what Loka is now, but the Golok, I think it is. No, not Golok. Anyway, the planet of the Surabhi cows. And then he brings a Surabhi cow in front of Krishna, so that if Krishna has any sort of anger and curse to say, maybe, just maybe, he will look at the Surabhi cow and be like, it's okay. I can't, how can I say anything to my own cows? And so when Indra and Surabhi cow come, it's described that Krishna speaks to Indra and goes, how could you have done this? How could you have tried to kill the Vrajvasis? Indra says, I became proud. Pride got the better of me. But then Krishna says, have you not heard the Bhagavad Gita before? In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that a devotee must be prideless, without pride. And you, Indra, are a devotee. You're in a position of a devotee. You're in a position of being a devta because you're empowered by me to be in that position. So how did you get pride? And Indra says, I got angry. And because I got angry, I lost my good intelligence. People have pride or anger. Sometimes you hear the best logic from them, right? You hear the best arguments from them. It's like, well, how did their brain come up with these arguments on what they're trying to say? But Indra is saying that I lost my good intelligence. Because it's not that we lose our intelligence. This is me speaking. Sometimes I'd say that in anger, we get more intelligence to argue our point. But the good intelligence is that which stabilizes, which connects us, which focuses on our connection to each other and Krishna over our self-preservation. And you see it, whenever you get angry, all of the arguments that your brain comes up with support your reason to get angry. You don't look at it from an actual rational perspective. You can never see the other side of the argument in that moment because you're angry. You're overwhelmed by your emotions. And so Indra is saying that I was so overwhelmed by my emotions. As a devotee, I know that I shouldn't have pride. I know I shouldn't have done this. But my ego was enhanced by my anger. And therefore, I called on the clouds. I called on the rains. I called on the thunder to come and harm and kill the Vrajvasis. And so that's another thing for us to learn. Pride is meant to be something we curb. The false ego is something we're meant to curb. But how do we curb that in the moment? Very difficult. But if we don't amass good intelligence in general in life, then whether it's in the moment or outside of the moment, we're not going to have any good intelligence to make our decisions based on anyway. And so the more we amass good intelligence, over time what can happen is that our angry intelligence will also start having traces of, no, Bhaja Govindam, this isn't right. I know you want to argue this point, but you know the pastime of Indra. You know what is right, what is wrong. And so sometimes, or hopefully what can happen is that our good intelligence can start becoming our normal intelligence. And so what we see through this pastime is that every pastime of Krishna has different lessons to learn. And sometimes there's overlaps in lessons. We see many pastimes with Indra has this lesson of pride being curbed. Throughout the Bhagavatam, you see that Indra ends up doing something wrong and then he apologizes for it. That gives us hope also, that we will make mistakes. But if we're sincere and serious, we will apologize for those mistakes when our good intelligence kicks in. And Krishna is so merciful, like with Indra, he forgave Indra. As soon as Indra said, okay, I lost my intelligence, my good intelligence, Krishna didn't say anything else after that. And we see that the Surabhi cow wanted to worship and bathe Krishna with milk, and then Indra bathed Krishna with water, with Ganga water. And then Govind Kund came, and Krishna got called Govinda as a result. But so many lessons we learn from different pastimes. And it's often, even as parents, oftentimes we can just teach the pastime to our kids. But do we teach the lessons to learn from them as well? Have we learnt the lessons from them? So what's important isn't just that the children learn the pastimes and stories, but they also learn how to become good people and how the scriptures can connect them into becoming good people, and especially good devotees. And so I'll end there. Comments, questions, corrections. Ramani Mataji has been to Govardhan Hill recently, so maybe she'll have other stories to share.
No, I don't have anything. I don't have stories to share. But question I wanted to ask. With Lakshmi, with my parents, Lakshmi, we always had a Ganesh next to Lakshmi. Why is that then? And why not Krishna being there?
So when we look at Vedic literature, Ganesh is the remover of all obstacles. So when we're doing worship or pujas, etc., even in Vaishnavism, you often find that Ganesh is present because he removes obstacles in the worship. When we look at, I think it's mentioned in Nectar of Destruction. Nectar of Devotion. It's Nectar of Destruction because it destroys our false ego. And our false pride. When we look at Nectar of Devotion, I think it's mentioned there, but it's mentioned somewhere, that actually Ganesh gets his empowerment from the source of the remover of the obstacles, which is Narsimhadev. So if we want to worship Krishna and I want personality to destroy or remove all obstacles, we can just go to the source, Narsimhadev. That's what we have in Mayapur. There's a pastime in Mayapur whereby the Narsimha deity was not there before. But what would happen is that the dacoits, etc., would come and destroy the place and steal and all that stuff. And so the devotees had gone to, or the disciples had gone to Srila Prabhupada and said, what do we do? Because we're just constantly in anxiety and under threat. And so Srila Prabhupada said, install a Narsimha deity, specifically carved in the Ugra Narsimha form, which is the most fearsome form of Narsimhadev. And so the devotees, I don't remember the full details and stuff, but they'd gone to a specific place to get the Narsimha deity carved. But people were like, no, we can't carve this, too horrific. Eventually somebody had agreed, and it took quite some time to carve the Narsimha deity. And then the Narsimha deity got brought to Mayapur temple, to this Mayapur temple. And since then, nothing has happened. There's been no any attempt to raid, to perform anything negative there, has just been nullified by Narshpadev's presence. So we can go to the source. And in fact, even Hanuman is described, even Hanuman got the source of his strength from Narshmadev, from his worship of Narshmadev. So that's why Ganesh is present, traditionally speaking. But yeah, we could have Narshmadev.
How come is Nrsimhadev not demigod like you said?
Narshmadev is a form of Krishna. So Krishna has expansions in the spiritual world, and then he has incarnations in the material world. And there's a whole cosmological chart and the whole description around the different avatars, etc. But Narsimhadev is basically a Vishnu form who has come in a half man, half lion form.
Since you spoke about Hanuman, I think I was watching one of the Ramayana. There are many Ramayana. So Govardhan Hill was Hanuman was carrying it from Himalayas.
You should take this. It's a nice casting.
So Hanuman was basically carrying. It was called, I think, Drona Prabhat or something, from Himalayas to Lanka to build a bridge. And then he was informed that the bridge has been already built and there's no need for more stones. And then he leaves Govardhan Hill in Braj. And I think then Ram tells him that in future he will come there and then he will lift.
Yes. So yeah, so the connection with Govardhan Hill is actually across different yugas also. Did everybody understand that? Okay.
Just one thing I wanted to ask. Basically, you said that Krishna said pray to me only. We have principal deities in
So Krishna said?
pray to me.
Oh, wait.
Yes. We have in Hindu Dharma we have three principal deities. Brahma, Vishnu, right? We have creator, preserver, and destroyer. Basically. So these are three roots basically of Hindu Dharma. And other deities like Indra, Varuna, they are just part of them in a way. So how pray only one God, not two others? That's the question.
So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are the creator, the destroyer, and the maintainer.
Preserver.
Yeah, or preserver. Yeah. But then why are we saying only worship Krishna? So my question back is, what is Brahma creating? What is Shiva destroying? And what is Vishnu maintaining or preserving?
Whole world.
Whole world.
Yeah.
But the material world, right?
Yeah.
But Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says he's the source of the material and the spiritual world. So who's the source? Shaivism.
Shaivism and Vaishnavism. So when if you follow Vaishnavism branch, we say Krishna does everything. The Sai branch, they say
Shiva does everything.
Right.
So then we get into Shiva Tattva. Who is Shiva?
Yeah.
So when you look at Shiv Purana, etc., okay, there's this whole explanation that the material world comes from the linga of Shiva, etc., right?
Yeah.
But then the scriptures are described to have different grades as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we look at that, it's coming from the linga of Shiva. Does that mean that the material world is part of Shiva? And Shiva is inside the material world then? Or is Shiva in the spiritual world creating the material world from there? That's not described. When we look at Vaishnavism and Srimad Bhagavatam, what's described is that Krishna expands himself into different forms, and one of the forms in the spiritual, on the boundary of the spiritual material realms, is Sadashiv. And from there comes the material world. So both are not incorrect. It's just we need to have a complete picture of how it's happening.
So the materialistic is also spiritual. Spirituality.
Material world
is also spiritual. If it's coming from the
yeah,
spirituality,
in our
It is also,
education.
it's not different, right? But it's only the purpose.
It's a
how
temporary
we see.
manifestation.
But
That's the difference. It's a temporary manifestation because what's described is that you've got the material universe, and okay, if I go through the whole cosmology chart in brief, you've got Krishna in the spiritual world. He expands into different forms, into Vishnu forms in the spiritual world. So the Narsimhadev that we see here, the Vamanadev we see here, the Matsya Avatar that we see here, has a reflection in the spiritual world as an expansion. Yeah. When they want to descend, they descend as incarnations, which is where we get the pastimes in this world of the material world. But from the Vishnu forms, you get Sadashiv, which is actually a Vishnu Tattva, but it's Shiva in Vishnu Tattva. Keep it simple for that. And from there comes a Vishnu called Mahavishnu, who from his pores emanates different universes. So when Mahavishnu is breathing in and out, the bubbles or the universes go in and out. So they are spiritual in one sense, but they're temporary, which is what makes it material. Because the nature of spiritual is Sat Chit Ananda, is eternal, full of bliss, and full of cognizance. But the material world, by nature, because it can exist and contract, it's not permanent, and therefore it's separated out from being material and spiritual. But you're right, in consciousness everything is spiritual, but what makes something spiritual is how much it's connected to Krishna.
The way we are collecting the intentions, that makes the change.
Yes.
If we are towards the spirituality by taking materialistic, or we are just
Engaging materialistic in materialistic.
Yeah.
Like this harmonium, it is a material thing. But what makes it spiritual is the fact that we're doing kirtan on it. What makes the phone spiritual? It's the fact that we read the Bhagavatam, we listen to classes on it. But what makes it material is when we're using it to connect on social media, when we're going on games, when we're doing all these different things. Questions, comments? I'm sure somebody's got a pastime with Govardhan.
We spoke about anger. So Indra is like, it said that the best man becomes Indra in some universe in next life. So even after all that, he became angry and he became bewildered, and we are wasting so much time, like our daily chores, work, and so, and then we have very little time for our sadhana. Do we have any hope?
I thought your question was going to go in a different direction. And then it comes to, do we have hope? Actually, I think we have more hope. Indra, if you think of the position of the king of heaven, what has he got to worry about? Nothing. He just gets all the servants or the other demigods to do everything. The only thing he has to do is be proud of owning the whole kingdom. He doesn't have any impetus to worship Krishna like we do, because sometimes we experience some distress in our life. It's like, oh, Krishna! So, in happiness, we can remember Krishna because we want to love Krishna and connect with him as a friend. And we get distresses to remind us that actually this place isn't a very nice place. It's a very miserable place because I get tears of sadness in this place. So let me just worship Krishna. But the heavenly kingdom, you just get so much joy and happiness that you're like, why do I need to befriend Krishna? I'm already happy. Who cares? I can just be happy. And in the, you might be thinking the hellish regions or the lower regions, there's so much distress and pain that you can't even remember Krishna because like, I hope I don't get another pain. Okay, now I'm going into hellish region. But there's one planet in the hellish regions where you get your head soaked into lava. taken in and out. So when you're inside the lava, everything's burning. But then when you're out, you're like, no, not again, not again, down. So where do you get the time to remember Krishna? You don't.
Just because of these emotions, anger, grief, these are like churning us, or to go
Remember Krishna. Yes.
So these are just small reminders, emotional thoughts, so we can just work as a spring. And
I like that. Use our emotions as a springboard to connect with Krishna. No, it's nice. It's true. It is true. Because we see the negative emotion. You know, a lot of times, especially modern generations, we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel sad. We don't want to put hard work in. Then when something mild comes into our life, it's like a whole mountain is dropped onto us. Because we haven't developed the strength to understand that actually this is the material world. There's hard work required. There's a lot of anxiety that's going to exist. You have to struggle through it. But then the more mature we get, the more we question, why is this my life? Is there something more than this? And that's where Brahma Jignasa comes, where we start questioning, what is the purpose of my life? Is it just to experience the happiness and the distress of the world? Or is there more to it? Modern generations struggle with this idea that this material world is a miserable place because they're just constantly searching for happiness. But the goal of the material world is not to search for happiness. The goal of the material world is to learn the lessons so that you get out of the material world and connect with the real eternal happiness.
and fulfill our purpose.
Our purpose, which is connecting back to Krishna, to loving Krishna. The ultimate purpose is that.
Two different services. Because the purpose to love Krishna, we can do every day or every minute. But that is for how long? If we are not serving the purpose, that is going to be boring.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, if we define love as a feeling, then yes, that requires love through service. But Srila Prabhupada would often describe bhakti not just as love, but as loving devotional service. Because if you love somebody, Smita Mataji, I love you. And I just sit here, and Smita Mataji's upset, and she's like crying, and I'm like, Smita Mataji, I love you. It's okay. I mean, I'm going to do something, right? I need to act in that relationship of love. Imagine your child. Oh, I love you, my child. Beta, I love you. But your 6-month-old child is crying for milk. No, no, beta, I love you. I love you, beta. No, you're going to feed milk. Okay, I'm conscious I'm just going on. So.
Just one question, sorry.
I'm not extending it. It's Smith about to just extend it.
So this is to do with our, I mean, I don't want to ask question directly, so I'm just going around. When you are listening something, so for example, if you say, oh, we should pray to Shiva, so why not Krishna? You say pray to Krishna, why not Shiva? You say, oh, Agni is very good. No, she has so many issues you don't know. Oh, she has so many problems. Oh, you don't know, she is very good. Like what is this which keeps us? So, for example, meat eating is bad. Then you will tell me, oh, it has proteins and this and that, and you know there is something within us which is always opposing that. And unfortunately, my pain is that when I see people not going anywhere, like we talk about ekat, like one pointed attention, vyavasayatmika buddhi, one pointed attention. Take this and do it, or drop it and do something else, but do it. Don't be on the fence for that long. I mean, we have also taken our own sweet time to choose the path. How do we motivate people to choose the path? Don't be on the fence for that long, because, and that was my again intent behind asking the question on anger as well, because people are wasting so much time in just deciding the path. When are they going to take the process, follow the process, and then win over anger? I mean, how do we inspire people to take it or drop it or find it and follow whatever it is. If not Krishna consciousness, some other consciousness, but do it. Don't waste your time and use this human life. That's what we want.
The key word you.
This one more thing
Yeah.
I want to add. These are, I think, interconnected. If you see Lord Rama, he was Vishnu avatar, and he prayed Lord Shiva in Rameswaram, created temple, like not temple, that Shivlinga, and he prayed before creating Ram Setu. Okay, so these are interconnected. Even Vishnu is praying with Lord Shiva, and at some time, I think somewhere he also prayed for Vishnu. So that's something interconnected. That's what I understand. That's why I asked the question.
Okay, let me address that one first, because that's, I guess, in Shiv Puran, who's described as Aradhya versus Radhana? Do you know which one's which? Shiva's Aradhya or Vishnu's Aradhya? So one means the object of worship, and the other means the worshipper. In everything that I understand, even of Shiv Puran, Vishnu is described as Aradhya, the object of worship, and Aradhana, the practitioner of worship, is Shiva. So even when we see in Ramayana, Ram is worshipping Shiva, or we see even in Krishna Lila, Krishna is sometimes seen to be worshipping Shiva. It's not done in the mood of Shiva, you are Aradhya, you are the source of the worship, or the object of the worship. You are a devotee, and your devotion is so strong that you are worshipable. So they're interconnected, but even from the scriptures, they're not confusing, because Vishnu is always described as the object of worship, and Shiva is described as worshipable because of his strong worship of Vishnu. In the Bhagavatam, it's described that Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, of all the Vaishnavas, of all the worshippers of Vishnu, Shiva is the topmost. But then you come into Shiv Tattva, where you start looking at what is the position of Shiva, and that's where it gets grey. That's why this whole Shiv Puran and this whole position of Shiva is very, very confusing, because Shiva is sometimes described also as the object of worship, but there we have to understand the tattva of Shiva. We have to understand the truth of Shiva, which in the Brahma Samhita, Brahma glorifies Shiva as curd or as yogurt, and Vishnu as milk. Yogurt comes from milk, or curd comes from milk. It's just a different form, but milk is the source. You can't go from yogurt or curd to milk, but you can go from milk to yogurt. And so in the same way, you can go from Vishnu to Shiva, but you can't go from Shiva to Vishnu because Vishnu is the source. So I appreciate that doesn't always, like a lot of Hindus, I know just you had this as well, right, with your background. There's a lot of, depending on how you've grown up in Sanatana Dharma culture, there's a lot of confusion between Vishnu and Shiva. And sometimes Shiva is seen as supreme. And so to digest the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam and the literatures which talk about Shiva's position as being a Vaishnava, as a devotee, or as being Vishnu but in a different form, is hard to digest sometimes. But I think that's why you have to go through the process and really understand the scripture. Because nowadays, who has read the Shiv Puran properly? Not many people. What we understand of Shiv Puran is scrolling on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and whatever else, and see the clips, but they get taken out of context. If I was sitting here giving Smita Mataji a lesson for her life, which I wouldn't do because Nikhil Prabhu wouldn't allow me to, because he loves Smita Mataji. If somebody just took that clip and put it on Instagram, etc., what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, Bhaja Govindam, such a bad person. But maybe Smita Mataji asked me a question and I was giving her, explanation, and she wanted me to give it direct, not wishy-washy. The context gets missed. And so that's why if we want to look at the scriptures systematically in detail. We can understand who is who. We can understand Brahma's position, Vishnu's position, Krishna's position, Shiva's position, Durga's position, all these things. So coming to this point of how do we help people choose a path? How did you get help? You didn't. People inspired you, which is the key word you used. And that inspiration influenced you, but ultimately you had to choose. Sometimes it's about intention as well. Sometimes, myself included, we will go to different scriptures just to read the scriptures, just because we want knowledge. We want to understand, what is this saying? What is this saying? What is this saying? We're not really looking to worship or do anything with that. So we're just looking for gyan. Sometimes people are so fearful. Like I have a friend from my old company. We would always have Krishna conscious conversations, like 15 minutes of work and then 2 hours of, don't tell my old boss, but 2 hours of katha, whether it's like philosophy or something like that, you know. And I always told him, like, you're just window shopping. Because that's what he's doing. He's going around with the shops and being like, oh, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. But I'm not going to get the money out of my pocket to pay for it. Some people just want to do that because they need an experience that inspires them to actually go in the shop and buy it. And that experience can come in multiple ways. Let's say I really love Nikhil Prabhu's jeans. Oh my gosh. That inspiration might be okay. Clearly not by the way I said it, but I could be so inspired and so enthused by seeing Nikhil Prabhu in those jeans that even though I saw those jeans in the shop, I just went past because I'm like, I'm not taking my money out. But now I've seen Nikhil Prabhu and his experience of the jeans, how he's sitting so comfortably and all these things. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to go in the shop and at least try the jeans on. Even if I don't buy it, I'll go into the changing room and try it on. Or it might be an inspiration whereby, you know what? My trousers have now ripped. I'm in distress. Something's gone wrong in my life. I need to get a new pair of clothes. Let me go in the shop. Okay, let me try this shop. And it happened to be the shop that Nikhil Prabhu got his jeans from. So I'm going to take those jeans. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there's 4 types of people that come to me. What are they? Distress, which in English? Memorization verse? Yep. Wanting something out of fear and curiosity. Yeah, I don't think fear is one actually. It's knowledge. Yeah. So one who just naturally worships me will come to me. One who has curiosity about spirituality, God, will come to me. One who wants something will come to me. And one who is in distress will come to me.
Or maybe someone has been chosen for that unintentionally, and the person hasn't chosen the path, but Krishna has
That's the first category.
Yeah, that would be
naturally.
they were natural. Yeah, naturally they already worship Krishna. Somehow or another in the past life or something, they've already chosen Krishna. Or Krishna has sent them. So they naturally already choose Krishna.
That's the first category, right?
Sometimes curiosity and knowledge leads into devotion.
Yes. So the key thing is there's 4 types of people who come to Krishna, but only 1 type of people stay with Krishna. If I have distress in my life, Krishna, please relieve me of my distress. Krishna relieves you. Okay, thank you, Krishna. Bye bye, Tata Ambani. You're gone. Krishna, please, I really want a Mercedes Benz and a 4-bed apartment. You get it? Thank you, Krishna. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm curious. Oh, let me find out what the Bhagavad Gita says. Oh, that's nice. Finished 700 verses. Very nice. Very nice philosophy. What's the next book now? Tata Krishna. But Krishna, I love you. Somehow or another, I love you. Even if I choose to let go, Krishna, how can I leave you? So that's the only type of person that stays with Krishna. One who loves Krishna. And that's why it's so important for us to develop love. Because otherwise we may Tata Ambani Krishna.
So I think There's one more factor which I would like to contribute to is when the time comes for someone. I think without the time, they won't come to Krishna as well. So there are a lot of times when you see a person living in front of the temple as well. They will never visit the temple. Near to Gurdwara, they will never visit the Gurdwara or anything else. So why is it only that I have come to Krishna at this particular age and time? Why not before? Why not after? So I think there are layers of karma, sanchit karma and, the prarabdha and everything. So those three types of karmic layers, they will restrict me or bring me closer at a particular time only. Unless I have cut them through the Krishna bhajan or whatever, that series of procedures are given up. I'm not going to go through that, but even if I have to come to that, Krishna will bring me up to that particular moment only when my karmas have cleared out and it is allowed that I should continue myself with this journey now. So obviously the spiritual journey, as they say, for that journey, I don't even know how long I've been traveling. Is it my seventh, eighth? I don't know how many births I've taken. But why have I chosen only this particular birth, time, place, and whatever? Is, I believe, according to the karmic theories as well.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, I just want to clarify one thing. There's 3 types of karma that I described, but they're split into 2 categories. So one category is material karma. So it's karma and karma and vikarma, which is your pious activities and the impious activities. But the second category is your spiritual karma, which is akarma. Your material karma doesn't influence your spiritual karma. Yeah, so that's one thing to separate out. So when we talk about activities, it's not about your material activities and your material reactions. One could be the most degraded person in the entire creation, but somehow or another they have acquired sufficient spiritual karma to connect with Krishna. They can still connect with Krishna.
And how is it happening? Like, how are these 2 accounts maintained? Because if in my birth, in this lifetime, I have not accumulated any spiritual. I mean, I don't understand the theory anyways, but I'm not doing anything which is, raising the balance on that side. But even then, somehow that balance is up there.
And that's where it becomes very interesting. So I often describe your material karma as credit cards, and then your spiritual karma like a debit card. Credit card is you're taking everything in loan, right? If you are doing a good activity, you're taking a loan out in good reactions, right? I mean, using loan for the credit card analogy. And so once you've received the reaction, you've paid back that part of the loan. If you're doing bad activity, again, you're taking a loan on negative reactions that are meant to come to you. You have to pay it back. So you're going to get the reactions. But debit card, the special thing about a debit card is that it's all based on how much you've accrued. If in this lifetime you've only put £1,000 into this spiritual debit card, spiritual account, what'll happen, which does not happen with material debit cards, by the way, is in your next life you will still start off with £1,000 in your debit account. So when the time is right for you to be able to use the £1,000 or access the £1,000, that's when you will come to Krishna at that level of £1,000. Let's say connecting to the spiritual path requires £10,000. Then you might have only accrued £1,000 in this life. In your next life, you still need to accrue £9,000 of spiritual money. This is not monopoly, but spiritual money to then be able to come to a path that connects to Krishna. So we describe this as, I forgot what it's called now, Sukriti, right? Sukriti is this idea where you develop spiritual piety without knowing you're practicing something spiritual. So, for example, at the temple also you see workers, right? You see companies coming. Are they devotees? No, they don't. For them, it's just business. They got a contract. They're going to help build the Haveli, whatever it is. But because even through business, they are serving the temple. They're acquiring sukriti. They're acquiring spiritual piety. So you see, sometimes one or two of them will get interest, like, oh, like what is going on here? And then you can see that they've passed that balance barrier to start getting curious about Krishna. Whereas the others are still building up to that point. And then if they've passed a certain threshold, they might start practicing it. Oh, okay, this sounds really interesting. Let me give it a go. Let me come to a Thursday night kirtan. You know what? I'm not going to go home on Thursday night. I'll just stick around for the Thursday night kirtan and experience what it's like.
So I think in essence what we're saying is, like, coming back to what Nitalji was saying earlier as well, is our job is to keep inspiring, perhaps. Again, going back to the theory of karma neva, right?
Yeah.
So we are doing that, not worrying about whether this person is going this way or that way. When their karmas have settled, they will automatically revert to the home, basically, right? They will come back to home.
They will look for a path to come.
Yes. So we don't really need to get frustrated or no need to understand either why and why not.
Yeah,
right?
Because it's their journey. We don't know where they're at in their journey. We don't know if they're at £9,999.99 or on their first pence in building that. Yeah, perfectly right. And that's an important part of sharing any sort of spirituality anyway, because one thing with spirituality is there's this idea of vairagya, detachment. How can you be attached to somebody else's journey? Because part of being spiritual means you're detached. So you're encouraging, inspiring, supporting, desiring them to connect with Krishna because you know that's the best thing for them. But at the end of the day, it's their journey. And in reality, everybody is connected to Krishna. In the verse, you guys missed it, but we read 9:23 as well, which is this verse that people worship different gods, but do so worship me only, but in a wrong way. Everybody is connected to Krishna in some way. Some people have the vision to see that it's spiritual, this harmonium is spiritual and connecting it in spiritual ways. Some people just see it as mundane material thing for me to enjoy. But it's still connected with Krishna. Just some people are in the beginning stages of their journey. Some people are at a stage where they're intentionally practicing connecting to Krishna. And some people, we pray we get there, are at the very top where everywhere they look, everything they see, I'm hoping that everybody has seen Mahavatar Nrsimha, that when Prahlad Maharaj gets that vision of Krishna and then he starts going everywhere, he starts just seeing Krishna in everything and everywhere. Ito Nrsimha, Parato Nrsimha, Yata Yata Yami Tato Nrsimha, Bahir Nrsimha, Hridaya Nrsimha. Wherever I go, I see you, Krishna. Wherever I walk, I see you, Krishna. You're over here, you're over there, you're outside, you're inside. I only see you, Krishna. To that Krishna, or Nrsimhadev, our from my obeisances. One day we pray, we hope we get there. Okay, so what end? Okay. One last one, no more comments.
They wipe your karma off a little bit or whatever. How does that work out?
Are we talking about for initiation, or are we talking something else?
Karma, you've done something and they wanna clear it for you. How is that?
Oh, I see. Like you go to somebody specially to clear it.
How does that work out?
You go to somebody to specially clear your karma. Or are we talking?
They talk about it. They guru or somebody say that you wipe it.
I see. Okay. Yeah, so if we focus on guru taking karma away, the idea behind a guru is that he is so connected to Krishna and he's so desirous of us connecting to Krishna that when he takes us as his disciple, his or her disciple or student for life, for eternal life, they are promising to help us get back to Krishna. And as part of that contract, we offer our life and soul to the guru, and the guru in turn does the best to free our path of any obstacles. And what is an obstacle? That which takes us away from Krishna. And that which takes us away from Krishna is our material karma. Because our reactions and desire for actions in karmic, in piety and impiety, is what takes us away from Krishna. And so that's what they're doing. How deep it goes depends on the disciple. If the disciple just says, oh yes, I want my guru because he will take everything away from me, but then we're not investing in that relationship, our heart hasn't actually surrendered to the guru. And so the guru, whilst the guru is ready to take all of our karma away, actually not very much goes away. Because we haven't given ourselves to the guru. We've only given in namesake. But for one who completely gives himself to the guru, they start from a zero slate. And so I have a choice then. I have a choice to focus on material karma again, and then the guru isn't taking that away, he's just cleared the slate for us. So we're now creating the obstacles. Or we can focus on serving the guru wholeheartedly, 100% dedication, and just do the spiritual activities that get us back to Krishna. So that's why we see gurus oftentimes, because they're taking that karma away from us, they sometimes will feel, I mean, it's up to Krishna really, but you will see that they accrue the karma. But because they're so connected to Krishna, they actually don't experience it. But in some places we see, Srila Prabhupada said, like, the reason why I'm suffering is because of my disciples. They're not following properly. Because he's taken their karma, but they haven't lived up to their end of the bargain. Okay, I said last one, but I see a hand up and a question. Okay, shall we get prepped for Damodarashkam and offering, and we can...
Can Krishna be a guru?
Can Krishna be a guru? So Krishna is he's described as the guru himself, as the super soul in the heart. So externally, Krishna manifests as the physical presence of the guru, and in the heart, he's the super soul guru.
So he can be guru to...
In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. You know, I'm accepting you as my guru. You please instruct me. But in our stage, we can't tell what is Krishna directing versus what is my mind directing, because we're not connected to Krishna.
Okay. For that, we have to make a spiritual guru.
Yes. Spiritual master. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, all three go together. Guru is there, Sadhu is there, so that's other spiritual seniors who can guide us, help us, and then Shastra meaning the literature, right? All three of us act as guru for us.
Guru, Sadhu,
and Shastra.
What is the difference between Guru and Sadhu?
So sadhus are other spiritual seniors we connect with, we take guidance from. Guru, Guru is the one who we formally say, I entrust my life and soul to them. You trust that they will guide you back. So you accept them properly as, he's my guru, he's the one, like, I've received everything from them. But we see and accept that there's all these other spiritual seniors who give us the guidance and support in alignment with what the guru is giving